Hi investors, in this video we're gonna deep dive in Workhorse earnings report, and that's something you absolutely need to know if you are a Workhorse investor like myself, or if you're looking at buying into the stock after the massive sell-off that happened a few days ago. We're gonna also look at the latest news on Workhorse stock, and last but not least we are gonna also have a look at the price chart. And I've bought and recommended a lot of stocks on this channel, and to all my subscribers who bought in with me, well, even after the stock market crash, we still have 40% profit on our portfolios. And by the way, if you want to see all my trades, which is when I buy and sell my stocks, just join my free Discord group, and it's gonna be the first link in the description below. And yes, it is totally free, and we just use it as a place to chat. And as I promised, we deep dive into the Workhorse earnings report to start with, but most of investors do not know what I'm about to show you. So to start with, there are a few top level things which are quite obvious. For example, they increased the backlog to over 8,000 vehicles, including purchase orders from pre-chart companies. And this small detail, 8,000 vehicles to be produced in the next few years, well, most of investors have missed it, because if we analyze the Workhorse CEO statement, they say that we are entering the new year in our strongest ever position, both financially and operationally, counting over 200 million of cash on our balance sheet. And most importantly, that's what most people have missed, we are well capitalized to expand our manufacturing throughput, and with over 8,000 vehicles in our backlog, that's what was mentioned earlier, we now have the order book to reliably build for our multi-year growth plan. And so that's what I'm talking about. Most investors have missed that these 8,000 vehicles are actually gonna be enough for a few years. Okay, the company has missed the USPS contract, and that's something we're gonna talk about later in the video, but they still have enough orders to keep going for a few years. As you know, they were badly beaten down by the Rona, and so knowing that the company is now ready to produce, they have lots of orders, that's great news. Another thing they mention is that they raised 207 million in capital over several financings, but what's really a big kicker is the cash position of 215 million as of 1st of March 2021. And if you have been subscribed to this channel, you know that Workhorse has been struggling for cash, and based on that cash position, and also assuming they're able to monetize their position in Lordstown Motors, they believe that their capital will be sufficient to support their current and projected funding requirements, which means basically their business, so they'll be able to sustain their business for several years, after which time additional funding will be required. They also throw into the mix that they will try to raise more capital if the opportunity arises in 2021, and so that is possibly more dilution or more debt. Which takes me to the next bit of news, which is very important, and that's the stake that Workhorse has got in Lordstown Motors. And what happened is that the Workhorse strategic stake in Lordstown Motors has actually increased in value and is now worth 320 million based on February the 26th. And they will now be able to sell it in April, and that's basically what they are hinting at. And so for all my subscribers who have bought Lordstown Motors, well, you know what's coming in April, so write it down, because that might turn into a pretty noticeable price drop. And another part that most people have missed is this specific bit into the CEO statement. The CEO said that they are currently faced with various supply challenges, both internal and external, in the ramp up to our stretch production goal for 2021. And what that means are the higher costs the Workhorse is sustaining. So for example, the cost of sales has doubled since 2019. Well, actually in reality it has more than doubled, almost tripled. On top of that, we have SG&A, so we're talking about selling, generals and administrative, that has literally doubled since 2019. And that's totally normal. That's what happened when a company is moving from being just a small company and trying to turn into a massive automotive industry, like for example Tesla. That is totally totally natural, guys. But another bit of good news is the sales for the fourth quarter of 2020 were recorded at $652,000 compared to the $3,000 in the fourth quarter of 2019, almost negligible. And yes, that's the bit that everyone was looking for. The increase in sales was due to a higher volume of trucks produced and delivered. Finally, Workhorse has really started to produce and sell trucks, which is what they're meant to do and what they were failing to do most of the time in 2020. And by failing, I mean they were struggling with it, but you know what I mean. And in terms of revenue for the total of 2020, they made $1,300,000 versus $376,000 in 2019. They have 4x their revenues in just 1 year, which is not bad, guys, which is not bad at all. The video is not over, but I just wanted to tell you how bullish I am for Workhorse. I think what the CEO has said is totally true, and they are in the best position they've ever been in the past. I mean, I understand they lost the USPS contract and that was a massive boomer, but at the same time they're selling, they're growing. This is just the best we can hope for. And guys, I'm gonna make a video update on Workhorse when news comes out, so stick around. And also a bit of news that is not totally positive. The interest expense for the full year of 2020 increased to $190 million compared to $29 million in 2019. But if you look further, you understand that this is not totally bad. The increase was primarily related to a non-cash change in fair value of the company's convertible notes as a result of increase in stock price through the course of 2020. But this is not bad at all, because the increase in expenses is due to the increase in value of the stock price. And so for investors like us, that's actually quite positive. But is it a good time to buy this stock or not? Now, as everyone knows, Workhorse took a massive drop when the news broke out that they didn't win the USPS contract, and there was a 50% drop. And so in terms of chart, we are now sitting on a resistance that is actually one of the lowest resistance the Workhorse is having, and that's one of the strongest as well. Unless some more bad news comes out, this stock is safe for the moment. We are very oversold now, which is something I would never have expected to say about Workhorse. And the RSI is actually in a very good place. If you look at the same values, for example, in October last year, so the RSI was all the way down and then exploded by 80% in just a month. And then it went up again, 147%. That's the kind of headroom we have now. On top of that, we have the moving average, which is quite far from the price action right now. And so I'm pretty sure that the stock price is gonna go up now to meet with the moving average. And so overall, I think the Workhorse is a strong buy as of now. Okay, there's been bad news in the past, but I'm also sure that more deals and more other good news will come out as well. And I'll make video updates as soon as that happens so that you're always up to date. And if you want to know when I buy and sell my stocks, just join my free Discord group, and it's the first link in the description below. And it's totally free, guys, totally free. And if you're looking for another explosive stock, how about Gevo? The video on the screen right now are the latest news on Gevo stock, an explosive green energy play. Click on the video.